Okay, moving to Antony's speech now. Let us read this out. Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. The evil that men do after them, the evil that men do lives after them. The good is often interred with their bones. So let it be with Caesar. The noble Brutus had told you Caesar was ambitious. If it were so, it was a grievous fault, and grievously had Caesar answered it. Okay, so coming to the explanation of the first part, I have already told you that he addresses the people as friends, which gives a personal connection and thus builds a better understanding of him with the citizens than Brutus. Then he says that I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. I'm not going to any time praise him. Why? Because whatever bad things that men do, that lives on after they die, but the good things get buried um, with their body only. So I want it to be the same way with Caesar. His good deeds I'll not talk about because they are buried with his body. Then he says that that Brutus says that Caesar was ambitious, and if it were so, it was a really grievous fault, and grievously had Caesar answered it, which means that he died because of his ambitiousness. Here, under leave of Brutus and the rest, for Brutus is an honorable man. I am here with the permission of Brutus and the rest because Brutus is an honorable man. Notice that he uses the word honorable man for Brutus, and throughout his speech, he's going to be repeating that word, honorable man, in such a way that by the end of the speech, the word honorable man will just turn into mockery. Right? For example, if throughout your day you continuously praise someone with a certain name, right, for a certain attribute, certain adjective, and by the time it becomes so comical, it becomes so humorous that it becomes a mockery, it becomes an insult, and it's no more true. So honorable man, this is what happens to honorable man, we'll see that later. He says that Brutus has given me the chance to speak here, so he's an honorable man. So are they all are honorable men. Come I to speak in Caesar's funeral. He was my friend, faithful and just to me. But Brutus says he was ambitious. He never says that I think he was ambitious. He says that Brutus says he was ambitious. And Brutus is an honorable man. And he hath brought many captives home to Rome, whose ransoms did the general coffers fill. Captives are like slaves that you bring when you overpower a kingdom. The slaves that they have, you bring it to your nation, whose ransoms are like money which is paid to set free, whose ransoms did the general coffers fill. So captives, conquered rulers, and soldiers whom he bought home as slaves. Ransoms is money paid to be set free, and general coffers is public treasury. So he says that he was very ambitious, and as Brutus says that he was ambitious, but he was also very strong and courageous because he brought a lot of money home and a lot of captives. Then he says that did this in Caesar seem ambitious? Now he tries to challenge the idea of his ambitiousness. Does this seem ambitious? Why would he be called ambitious if he is bringing money home and then actually giving that money to the coffer of the general good for the general good of Rome? When that the poor have died, Caesar has wept. Ambition should be made of sterner stuff. When the poor people have actually cried, Caesar has cried with them. And if this is ambition, if ambition is crying because of someone else's sorrow, then ambition should be made of sterner stuff. Ambition cannot be so tender and so soft, right? Yet Brutus says he was ambitious. He continuously says that Brutus says he was ambitious. And Brutus is an honorable man. You all did see that on the Lupercal. If you remember in class 9, we studied about the feast of Lupercal. This is that feast. I thrice presented him a kingly crown, which he did thrice refuse. Was this ambition? Yet Brutus says he was ambitious, and sure he is an honorable man. I speak not to disprove what Brutus spoke, but here I am to speak what I do know. You all did love him once, not without cause. What cause withholds you then to mourn for him? He says that I know you all have loved him once, Of course, you might have had your reasons for loving him. Then what is holding you back for mourning for him now? O judgment, thou art fled to brutish beasts, which means, O God, you have become wild beasts. Your judgment has become wild. Why can't you judge what is right and what is wrong here? And men have lost their reasons. You are not being reasonable enough. You're just believing anything. Also, note that Brutus is not present at this junction, so there is not really anyone who could stop Antony from speaking. My heart is in the coffin there with Caesar, and I must pause till it come back to me. Okay, so he's saying that bear with me, apologies for my outburst, apologies for me being so emotional because my heart, from which I get my senses actually, is not with me right now. It is with Brutus in the coffin. Okay, so this is the first part of the speech. I want you to note it down in your book. The points which he makes of reasons, point of reasons. So first, he says that he's not here to praise him because the good things get buried, and he also says that Brutus is an honorable man who has allowed him to speak here. He also says that Brutus is saying that Caesar is ambitious, and Brutus is again an honorable man. The first point he makes that is that he brought captives home to Rome, and that filled the general coffers. Just write it down alongside captives home and general coffers. The second point is that he cried when poor cried. He cried with poor people. This is also not ambitious. And third point he makes, at Lupercal he rejected crown thrice, three times. Okay, this was the third one. And does he say anything else? No, but he then goes about to say that he does not disapprove of Brutus, what Brutus has spoken. And with that, you can write the fourth point also, that you have loved him once, but what reason? Why can't you mourn for him now? Yeah, right? You have loved him once. Then he says, "O judgment, thou art fled." So you guys have left no judgment. You don't have any judgment. You have no reason, and you're being unreasonable. Then first citizen says that I think me thinks there is much reason in his saying. A lot of things what he is saying is making sense. Second citizen says, if thou consider rightly of the matter, Caesar has had great wrong. If you think about it the right way, Caesar has been done a lot of wrong things. Caesar has been betrayed basically. Then third student say, has he masters? I feel there will be a worse come in his place. He thinks that a worse person will come in Caesar's place. Fourth person says, marked his words, he would not take the crown. Therefore, this certain he was not ambitious. So he is trying to reiterate the points of Antony, that Antony said that he did not take the crown. So, which means that he was not a bit ambitious. Then the first citizen says, if it be found so, some will dare abide. Okay, so he said that if it is found so that he was not really ambitious, some people will have to pay for it. Which means Brutus and the conspirators will have to pay for it, right? Because they have killed Caesar, and if it is found that he is actually not ambitious, then they'll have to pay for it. Second citizen say, poor soul, his eyes are red as fire with weeping. So they're, showing their emotions, showing their sympathy with Antony, that poor soul, his eyes are red as fire with weeping. Third citizen says that there is no one nobler in Rome than Antony. Fourth citizen says, now mark him, he begins again to speak. Antony says, but yesterday the word of Caesar might have stood against the world. Which means that as he was an ambitious man, he was brutally assassinated, but no one would have ever stood against him, and no one is humble to show him respect. Okay, so what he's trying to say, the only thing he's trying to say is that before his word would have been against the whole world. The whole world would be saying one thing, but he'll be stuck. That's one thing. You can remember the Metellus Cimber case. He was stuck with his case. Now he lies here, and no one is so poor to do him reverence. Reverence is respect. No one is so humble to pay him respect. Then he says, oh masters, if I were disposed to stir, If I were wretched, I were inclined to instigate your hearts and minds to mutiny and rage, I should do Brutus wrong and Cassius wrong, who you all know are honorable men. Honorable men again. I will not do them wrong. I rather choose to wrong the dead, to wrong myself, and to wrong you. Now, this is the diplomatic intention and the diplomatic efficiency of Antony that is being shown here. He says that your hearts and minds, if he just says very cleverly that if I were to instigate you all, if I had the intention to bring you all to do a revolt, then I would do Brutus wrong and I will do Cassius wrong also, but both of them are honorable men. So I do not want to do anything wrong to them, so I will wrong myself, I will wrong the dead, and I will wrong all of you all only, right? So I rather choose to wrong the dead, to wrong myself, and to you. I would like to do justice to Caesar, but and myself by not speaking what I know. Okay, so then I will wrong such honorable men. But here's a document. Here's a parchment. Here's a document with the seal of Caesar. I found it in his closet. This is his will. Let but the commons hear this testament, which, pardon me, I do not mean to read. And they would go and kiss dead Caesar's wound. So he's trying to create a curiosity. He wants to instigate a curiosity in them, that such that he's saying that I am not going to tell you what is written in this document. But if you guys got to know what is written in this document, then you will go and kiss dead Caesar's wounds. You will be so happy. You will have such respect for Caesar that you will go and kiss dead Caesar's wounds and dip your napkins in his sacred blood. Yeah, beg a hair of him for memory, and dying, mention it within their wills, bequeathing it as a rich legacy unto their issue. This is a very important, these are very important lines. Just remember this. If I were to tell you about the will, if you heard the will, you will go and kiss dead Caesar's wound. Then you will dip your napkins in his sacred blood, and you will beg a hair of him for memory. And when you will be dying, you will mention it within your will, and you will bequeath it to your children as a rich legacy. Then he says that fourth citizen says that we will hear the will. Read it, Mark Antony. Citizen says the will, we will hear Caesar's will. Antony says, have patience, gentle friends. I must not read it. Now he's saying that have patience. I must not read it. It is not meet you know how Caesar loved you. It is not right for you to know how much Caesar loved you. This does not make sense. He's clearly, very straightforwardly, he is trying to convince them to. He wants to just. He wants them to ask him what is there in the will more and more. You are not wood, you are not stones, but men. And being men, hearing the will of Caesar, it will inflame you, it will make you mad. This is good, you know not that you are his hearers. So he's revealed a little secret which will again make them more curious. He said that you are not wood, you are not stones, you are men. And being men, if you hear the will, it will anger you, it will enrage your emotions, and it is better you know that you are his hearers. It is better you do not know that you are his hearers. This is the shrewd nature of Antony that is being shown here. For if you should, oh, what would come of it? Because if you know, oh no, I don't know what will happen if you get to know that you are the hearers of Caesar. Fourth citizen says, read the will, we'll hear it, Antony. You shall read us the will, Caesar's will. Antony says, will you be patient? Will you stay a while? I have gone further than I intended to. The amount of information I intended to tell you all have already gone farther than that. I fear I wrong the honorable men whose daggers have stabbed Caesar. I do fear it. Fourth citizen says they were traitors, so called honorable men. They were actually traitors. They were so called honorable men. Citizen says the will, the testament. Second citizen says they were villains, murderers, the will. Read the will. Antony says, you will compel me then to read the will? Then make a ring about the corpse of Caesar and let me show you him that made the will. Shall I descend, and will you give me leave? So he says that if you're really forcing me to speak out the will, just gather around. Okay, citizen says, come down, descend, you shall leave. A ring, stand round. Okay, so here goes. Stand from the hearse, stand from the body. So hearse is a large car used to carry a dead body at a funeral. So he says that stands from the hearse, stand from the body. Room for Antony, most noble Antony. Nay, press not so upon me, stand far apart. Citizen says, stand back, room, bear back. Antony says, if you have tears, prepare to shed them now. You all do know this mantle. I remember the first time ever Caesar put it on. Mantle is a cloak, is a cover, a dress that people wear. If you have tears, prepare to shed it now. You all do know this cloak. I remember the first time ever Caesar put it on. It was on a summer's evening in his tent. That day he overcame the nervy. Look, in this place ran Cassius's dagger through. See what a rent the envious Casca made. Rent is a rip. Through this the well beloved Brutus stabbed, and as he plucked his cursed steel away, mark how the blood of Caesar followed it. As rushing out of doors to be resolved, a Brutus so unkindly knocked or no, for Brutus, as you know, was Caesar's angel. Judge, O you gods, how dearly Caesar loved him. This was the most unkindest cut of all. For when the noble Caesar saw him stab, ingratitude, more strong than traitor's arms, quite vanquished him, then burst his heart. So I'll just explain this for you. He says that if you have tears, prepare to shed it now. And then he talks about the cloak that the Caesar's dead body is wearing. He says that I remember when it was a summer evening when in his tent when he had just overcome the nervy. I'll tell you who the nervy were. So when he was wearing it then, and he was wearing it now, and when Cassius's dagger and Casca's dagger and everything, and he talks about Brutus's stabbing, and he says that when he plucked the dagger away, mark how the blood of Caesar followed it, as if rushing out of a door to see for sure if it was Brutus knocking sword. So look at the metaphor, look at the simile that has been used here. He says that when Brutus stabbed and he took out his dagger out of Caesar's body, then the blood came out as if to check if it was Caesar, to check if it was Brutus knocking at the door. For Brutus, as you know, was Caesar's most precious friend. Judge, O you gods, how dearly Caesar loved me. This loved him. This was the most unkindest cut, cruelest cut. For when noble Brutus saw that it was Brutus stabbing him, then it was Brutus's ingratitude more than the traitor's weapons that overwhelmed him. It was seeing that it is Brutus who has betrayed me, that harmed him more than traitor's weapons. And his face got covered by the cloak, and even at the base of Pompey's, which all the while ran blood, great Caesar fell. Oh, what a fall was there, my countrymen. Now, who was the Nervi? The Nervi was the warlike Gallic tribes whom Caesar conquered. In 57 BC, you don't need to remember 57 BC. Caesar fought bravely, and his victory was celebrated with great pomp in Rome. Okay, so Nervi is a warlike Gallic tribe who Caesar had conquered in 57 BC. Caesar fought bravely, and his victory was celebrated with great pomp in Rome. Now, then he says, then I and you, all of us fell down, whilst bloody treason. Treason is being disloyal to something. Treason is treachery. Treachery is a better word for it. Flourished over us. Oh, now you weep, and I see you feel the pain of pity, and these tears are honorable. Good men, do you weep when all you have looked at is Caesar's wounded cloak? So he's saying that you are weeping while you've just now looked at just the Caesar's cloak only. You have not seen the actual will. Oh, are Caesar's vesture wounded? Look you here. Here is himself marred as you see with traitors. So marred is mutilated. Look at Caesar who's mutilated by the mutilated is just exploited by the traitors. First citizens, oh piteous spectacle! Second says, "O noble Caesar, O sad day, O traitors, villains, O most bloody sight, we will be revenged." Citizen says, "Revenge about seek, burn, fire, kill, slay, and let no traitor live." Stay, countrymen. Peace, then hear the noble Antony. We'll hear him, we'll follow him, we'll die with him. Good friends, sweet friends. Again, friends, good friends, sweet friends. Let me not stir you up, let me not stir you up, let me not instigate you to such a sudden flood of revolt. They that have done this deed are honorable. What private griefs they have, alas, I don't know. So he establishes it as a fact that it was definitely private grief and private, private, say अनबन उनकी हुई होगी कुछ private में. That is something that has caused them to private grief, that has personal grievances that have caused them to kill Caesar. He establishes it as a fact, right? Then that made them do it. They are wise and honorable and will no doubt with reasons answer you. I come not, friends, to steal away your hearts. I'm not here to steal away your hearts. I'm not here to bring you all in my favor. I am no orator as Brutus is, but as you know me all, a plain blunt man. I'm a plain blunt man that love my friend and that they know full well, that love my friend and that they know full well. So I love my friends, which are the conspirators, and they also know I love them. That gave me public leave to speak of him, for I have neither wit nor words nor worth. So he's downplaying him. You get what is downplaying? Downplaying is when you are of greater wit, you are of greater capabilities, but you keep saying that no, I don't know anything, I don't have this capability. The same way he's saying that I have neither wit nor words nor worth. But we can definitely see he definitely has wit and words at least. Action nor utterance nor the power of speech. Nor the power of speech. This whole play is about the power of speech, right? This act at least is about power of speech. Um, which is very good for, works out very well for this guy. Then body language, action or utterance, like eloquence, you can say. To stir men's blood, I only speak right on. I tell you that which you yourself do know. I tell you what I really think. Show you sweet Caesar's wounds, those poor speechless mouths. So they are always comparing wounds with mouths. And ask them to speak for me and bid them speak for me. But where were I Brutus and Brutus Antony? If I were Brutus and if Brutus were Antony, there were an Antony who would ruffle up your spirits and put a tongue in every wound of Caesar that would move the stones of Rome to rise and mutiny. So he's saying that if I were Brutus and if Brutus were me, right? So there would be an Antony. So in Brutus's place, if there was in Antony's place, there was a Brutus, then there would be an Antony. So this is quite confusing. We don't know who is referring to. He's saying I am. This is the present Antony. This is the present Brutus. If I was Brutus and if Brutus was Antony, so there would be an Antony. So now he's referring to Brutus because Brutus is Antony. Then there would be an Antony who would ruffle up your spirits and put a tongue in every wound of Caesar and rise the stones of Rome to rise and mutiny. Citizen says, we'll mutiny, we'll burn the house of Brutus. Away then, come seek the conspirators. Yet hear me, countrymen, yet hear me speak. Peace, ho, here, Antony, most noble Antony. While, friends, you go to do you know not. You go to do you know not what. You don't know what you're going to do, basically. What has Caesar done to deserve your love? Oh, you don't even know yet what Caesar has done to deserve your love. You have forgotten the will I told you about. Citizen says, most true, the will, let's hear the will. Here is the will and under Caesar's seal. Under Caesar's seal, matlab he is showing proper verification. This has a Caesar's mark, Caesar's seal, and this is like official. To every Roman citizens he give, to every several man 75 drachmas. So just make a list again. 75 drachmas are being given by this guy Caesar. 75 drachmas to several men, to every man, basically everyone. Second says, most noble Caesar will revenge his death. O royal Caesar, hear me with patience, hear me. Moreover, he has left you all his walks, which means gardens, his private arbors, private arbors, which is private groves or gardens only you take, private arbors, and new planted orchards on the side, on this side of Tiber. He has left them to you. On this side of Tiber is the river, on this side of Tiber he has left you new planted orchards. So this is all yours now. He has left them for you and to your hearers forever. So for your hearers also it will be for them. Common pleasures, public parks, public pleasure grounds, to walk abroad and recreate yourself. Here was a Caesar, when comes such another. When will there be anyone else like him? Right? So, if we have really made a list, 75 drachmas, all his walks, all his garden, private arbors, his orchards, and his common pleasures, and all that. And his, remember that, new planted orchards on the side of river Tiber. Then he says, first citizen says, never, never come away, away. We'll burn his body in the holy place. In the holy place, they'll burn the body. So I'll tell you the reference to this also. Actually, in Rome, they used to bury the body, but there was one specific tradition, we'll tell you later. And with the brands, fire the traitor's house. Use torches to set fire on traitor's house, burning pieces of wood to burn traitor's house. Take up the body, go fetch fire, go get some branches for wood, rip down doors, windowsills, and anything else. Now let it work, mischief thou art. So he is now, Antony is talking to himself only. He is not really talking about the citizens. Now let it work, mischief you are on loose. Now I have instigated them. Mischief is on loose. Follow whatever path you want. He is telling mischief to go at whatever path. He has just set mischief free. Then enters a servant. Whose servant? I would want you to guess. It's of course Octavius's servant, because if you remember in the last scene, actually Antony had told the servant of Octavius Caesar to stay. Sir Octavius has already come to Rome. Where is he? Servant says he and Lepidus are at Caesar's home. Just remember the word Lepidus. Lepidus is going to be a lot in this play now. Lepidus. Antony says, and thither will I straight to visit him, and I will go straight there to visit him. He comes just when I hoped he would. The goddess of fortune is happy and will give us anything in this mood. So he's saying, I will. Okay, so Lepidus and Octavius are already here at Caesar's house, and thither will I straight visit him. He comes upon a wish, fortune is merry, and in this mood will give us anything. So he's saying the luck is so great that Octavius and Lepidus are at Caesar's home at the perfect time. Servant says, I heard him say, Brutus and Cassius are rid like madmen through the gates of Rome. So he's saying that Octavius says that Brutus and Cassius have ridden their horses like madmen, pagal insan, mental people, madmen, to escape through the gates of Rome. Antony says, be like, they probably got some warning before of how much I had stirred the people. Be like they had some notice of the people, how I had moved them. Bring me Octavius. Now this is the end of the scene, but I really want you to just recall whatever we have read about Antony's speech. I'll tell you about ऊपर से सब कुछ. So first he starts with saying friends country. When we did revise till then, right? We revised till the point that they say that you have loved, he tells the citizen that you have loved him before, so why can't you mourn for him now? And he also gives them the reasons, about 3 to 4 reasons on how Caesar is actually not ambitious. Then he goes on to say that before Caesar's word would have stood against whole world, but today no one is humble enough to respect him and mourn for him. Then he says that Brutus, I will not instigate you. I would not bring your hearts and mind to mutiny and rage. Otherwise, I'll do Brutus and Cassius wrong, and they are honorable men. I rather choose to wrong me, the dead, and you all. And then he talks about the will, and then he continues to say that I'm not going to tell you the will, but if I read it out to you, you will kiss Caesar's wound, you'll dip your napkins in his blood, and then he will beg for a hair of him for memory, and then you'll bequeath it to your people and inherit it to your sons and your um for as a legacy. Then people get, all curious of what is there. Then he says that I must not read it, you are not allowed to know how much Caesar loved you and all that. Then he just elapses the scene. He just tries to elongate it so that curiosity is at max potential. Then he comes to say that you will compel me, then you come and form a ring around. Then he says that if you have any tears, prepare them to shed. Then he talks about the mantle on a summer evening in the tent. Nervy, he conquered, then everyone stabbed. Brutus's stab was the most worst, because he was Caesar's angel and most dearly loved, and ingratitude was there and all that stuff was there. That is true. And then he says that you are weeping while seeing at the cloak only. Let me read out the will for you. Then he reads out the will. Um, and between that he also says that I don't know what private griefs these people had with Caesar, that they actually went and killed him. Then he says that I do not have any wit words or anything. This is not important. Then he says that then he talks about the real will: 75 drachmas, his walks, private orchards, gardens and arbors, and on the side of the river Tibet, and also common pleasures and everything. And with that, the scene is about to end, and all the citizens are off to mutiny. They're ready to burn the houses of the traitors. And at the same time, servant of Octavius Caesar comes and announces that Octavius is actually home. And with that, the scene ends.